When purchasing property in Texas, and their property specifically has an HOA or a homeowners association, there is an addendum that goes along with the contract, and more particularly the TREC contract on residential properties, that does need to be applied or signed along with the contract. More specifically, the addendum for property subject to mandatory membership in a property owners association. Now, when getting this addendum completed, it is very important that a particular section that we get questioned a lot about, saying that certain people see it this way and read it this way. In Section C specifically, it goes over fees and deposits for reserves. Now, in this section, what it's going over is the buyer is paying up to a certain amount of the HOA fees listed on the resale certificate that we get back from the HOA when we order that package. Part of that, of those fees get paid by the buyer up to a certain amount, and then the seller is to cover the remaining excess amount that's due. What gets confused a lot is part of those fees, what does it apply to? So in this particular section, again, it mentions fees and deposits for reserves. So it reads, buyer shall pay any and all association fees, deposits, reserves, and other charges associated with the transfer of the property not to exceed, and then you put the dollar amount, and seller shall pay any excess. And then it goes on to say that this paragraph does not apply to, any regular periodic maintenance fees, assessments, or dues that are reoccurring. So yearly dues, as semi-annual dues, anything that's reoccurring, this paragraph does not apply to. But however, what it does apply to are any one-time costs that are on the resale certificate that the HOA charges. This applies to working capital fees, any other deposits that they require that they may add because this HOA has a special extra deposit. As we all know, some HOAs do have different deposits that others may not, just because of the type of the HOA that it is. However, what people don't like or think is that maybe a working capital does not apply to this because it's not a transfer fee. This is not just about transfer fees. This is about every fee on the HOA, whether it's working capital or any of the above. The buyer only has to pay up to that a dollar amount listed on that section in that paragraph, and then the seller does have to cover the rest. For example, if the transfer fee is $200, but you also have a working capital fee of $500, and this paragraph mentions the buyer pays up to $250, the seller is going to have to cover the rest of that working capital of $450 that's listed on the resale certificate. So as a seller, it is probably very important for you to reach out to your HOA company, and you can get ahead of this and ask the HOA, hey, what fees do you charge at closing when it comes to the resale certificate? If you do have any more questions about this particular addendum or just any questions overall, please feel free to reach out and we can clarify any of those questions for you as, pertaining to this particular addendum or, again, anything to the contract when you're buying or selling in Texas. If you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to subscribe. All of our information is down below if you did have any questions. We'll see you next time.